It'll be fun. You didn't give me anything to talk about.
I kind of expected this having to go between Define and Benura, so my discussion is a little bit more at the holistic stroke strategic level.
All right, so thank you very much for the opportunity to address you folks today. Johannes Terblanche, GM of Managed Services with the GSMA, based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm very happy to be here and work with WSO2 specifically as we are developing the next generation of APIs for telco and the telco ecosystem. So just a quick overview of who is the GSMA. We're a global trade association of mobile network operators. About 800, I think 784, depending on weekly acquisitions and disposals, and more than 200 countries, about 230, depending on how you choose to count. What do we do? We were originally called into creation to help standardize and drive global interoperability around the GSM technology. So what most people would know as 2G. And that has since evolved into 3G, UMTS, or wideband CMA, and it's also known. And the latest generation now is LTE. So when you see LTE, that's basically a GSM evolution. And at this point, we have pretty much gotten the entire planet to standardize on mobile technology. So that's a huge result for us. But now, what's next? Where do we go from here? So, since we're an association and our board is made up of mobile operator executives, including the CEO of Axiata Group, for instance. We've been tasked by our operator members to envision the future of the mobile ecosystem. What does that mean, right? Well, what's next? What's the next generation service, and how do we make it real? How do we keep it interoperable? And how do we enable our mobile operator members to adapt and adjust and serve all their customers at internet deployment speed? So that's important. It's the speed of deployment. Operator technology and telco technology is rock solid. It's just very slow to evolve. So there are specific areas where it has to be slow because it's still a phone company, right? You don't want your bank to be loose with your money. So certain things has to be grounded in old school foundations. But there are other areas, like we'll see, where fast moving is important. So we've identified 4 key areas working with our operating members as far as what's most important in the near term. So personal data, specifically access to your personal data, and also the ability to elect or choose whether your personal data would be exposed or not exposed to downstream companies and enterprises. And managing that on behalf of subscribers and standardizing that globally. Of course, your phone number is a unique identifier, and another area that we enable and have standardized is number portability, so you have the ability to take the number with you. And so what does that mean in the future? Well, you take your number with you because your identity, or a lot of the stuff in your identity is tied to your phone number, so you want to be able to take that with you and not necessarily have to recreate your new profile when you go to a different operator. Right? So that's something we're working on. Digital commerce is obviously a no-brainer, right? Given that what's going on in the world today. What does that mean? It's more than just a payment service or a specific device maker. It's to do with the integration of the backend and enabling operators to securely serve their subscribers to enable digital commerce. And of course, this includes mobile money. So, mobile money is one of the fastest growing services globally for operators, and there are entire countries where the vast majority of the population doesn't have a bank account. They have a mobile, right? So that is becoming the de facto connection to the modern economy. Some countries even talk about phasing out paper money in due course. Like, you don't need to print it at any expense. Connected living, right? So what does that mean? Internet of Things, really. Everything's connected. Everything is enabled on the mobile operator networks. But again, how do you do that in a standardized fashion? How do you allow gizmos to roam, for instance? I mean, if you buy a connected toothbrush in Sweden, you still want it to work when you go to Denmark. So, and it's funny what people dream up, right? Connected skipping rope or whatever, and basketball. People travel, so they want these things to work. So it's our job to make sure that interoperability and, for the lack of a better phrase, roaming is enabled, but it's also done in a fashion where it's not cripplingly expensive to take your basketball to Denmark. Of course, Network 2020 is basically the phrase that we have as far as right. So we have this vision for what consumers will want and what subscribers will want and what operators will want to take to market, but we still have to build the meat and the bones of this ecosystem in order to enable that. And so Network 2020 is concerned with that as far as specifications within handsets, within networks, and as we go towards, a lot of people are hyping 5G. I mean, it's just another evolution of mobile technology, making it seamless. And then, a good example would be, you don't necessarily want to have to type in Wi-Fi access password when you go from the mobile network and you roam onto a hotspot. Something like that, logically it should be seamless, right? I think most people would be happy to pay for it if it's a good service and it has a good quality of service, sure. And you don't have to worry about having to constantly go between different hotspots, etc. So, how do we enable that? How do we take the network to the next step? So just a few more refreshers and infographics, because I know people love infographics. Right? So how big is mobile and how big is it going to become? Big, obviously. At the moment, it's about 2 billion in total revenues for the ecosystem, with the mobile operators pulling down about 1.1, 1.2 billion per year. 800 operators, 200 countries, so 4 billion subscribers. These are the numbers. Why is this important? I mean, if you look here, what is the biggest growth? What is the biggest growth number? It's apps content advertising. Okay, so what does that mean? What does that mean? It means that the mobile phone is fast replacing the television set and the newspaper as a primary channel for advertising and marketing and content delivery. We know this. I mean, we see it every day a new over-the-top service being launched, etc. How do we make an ecosystem that can support that while also enabling operators to keep spending at the levels that they need to spend in order to facilitate it? Right? So, at the moment, we're spending about 230 billion globally on CapEx. CapEx is about 30% of total operator spend, which means OpEx is that basically 70% of. So total OpEx spend, for instance, in the United States between the 4 major operators, OpEx and CapEx is in excess of $110 billion a year, just those 4 operators. So when people say, well, the internet should be free, There are a lot of cell sites and a lot of people, and armies of people that has to be deployed in order to actually construct these networks and maintain them. And it's not a question that, you know, it's just a twisted pair of copper and you can install it and forget it. It's a high intensity and a very complex system. And there are many of them. Alright, so why else is it important? Well, everybody wants to, in order to drive all this wonderful economic growth and the app economy and the content economy, the bandwidth is constantly having to rise exponentially. So you have to keep spending at this dramatic level to be able to enable the growth.
Just curious on the graph on the left, depending on how are we saying that Asia Pacific, you know, the capex is much higher compared to other countries? I'm just curious, because that seems like
yes. And there are some underlying reasons for that. I mean, one key reason for that is because there are some different countries in Asia Pacific, which means that you don't get the necessary scale of economy that you would get if you had one large country. Right, so if each country is kind of smallish and you have to build 3 or 4 different networks.
So that's small.
Yeah, so you don't get the scale of the economy. And there are a lot of networks in order to serve what would be in other places, you know, one larger consolidated network. So that's one reason. And of course, you go through technology cycles. And Asia Pacific also has half of the world's population. Actually, probably more, 3/4, no, 2/3. Depending on
China and India.
You know, so the logic is in there somewhere. But you know, you can see it's the majority of the large spend recently is this 3G LTE upgrade, and it kind of goes up. But when the numbers get that big, even a large increase kind of disappears in the noise a little bit. All right, so which pony should you bet on? You can see and so, okay, data and mass, right? What does that mean? What does data and mass mean? It also means voice, actually. So, in this case, voice is the old school circuit switch voice, right, that we used to do in make a phone call. But voice over LTE and services like Skype, etc., this is all in the data and mass code. Text messaging and old school voice is obviously going to tail off. So how do you leverage this phenomenal next level of growth in mobile internet? Through APIs, leveraging the operator ecosystem and the functionality of the underlying networks that Nifan actually did a great job of explaining. And all of the subscribers, if you look at the mobile industry as one addressable consumer base, it's still 4 times larger than Facebook. So when you start talking about things like federation of applications and content, etc., there's a real case for embracing operating ecosystem and federated APIs. So kind of a bit of a recap of the previous slides where the growth would be. Applications, content, and advertising. So I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and you know, I've been somewhat frustrated because a lot of people, when they think applications, they think Angry Birds or I don't know, WhatsApp or something like that. But what moves the needle for an operator? When you're a beast, when you're an AT&T, and you have $120 billion a year in revenue, even Angry Birds doesn't move the needle for you. I mean, it's nice, it's good marketing, but on the revenue numbers, it's not anything that you can really take the bank. So what's going to move the needle for operators? Enterprise enablement, and enterprise brand. So we spoke about the television being displaced and the newspaper being displaced by the mobile phone. Everybody likes cool stuff. However, enterprises are skeptical. The ones I speak to are skeptical and somewhat hesitant to just purely embrace the over-the-top story of social networking, etc. Obviously, there is a place for that. Nobody is saying that there isn't a place for that. However, They want to own their own data. If you, as brand A, hands over your data to a social network who might not have any issues with selling it to your biggest competitor, that becomes a major issue, right? So working closely with operators who APIs enable brands to go on to that stuff and choose what they want to share, and reverse subscribers can choose what they want to share with brands. So it's a equitable relationship. Mifan spoke about develop once, deploy many times. That's where standardization of APIs come into the picture. So Mifan spoke about this. Can applications roam? Can content roam? Right? So I'm a developer in, I don't know, small country X, Burundi. I came up with a great new idea. This idea would play very well in Canada or Brazil, for instance. Can I, through working with my local operator, get paid in my own currency in my own country without having to go through a middleman on the west coast of the United States to reach subscriber base in Brazil? Yes. If you embrace federated APIs, and this is a sort of a dumbing down of the infographic that Mifan shared, but essentially, if you have a developer operator where the developer in country A will develop an app or share content, and you have a serving operator in a different country where the consumer will consume it, there is an ecosystem through nodes, hubs, and exchanges to do discovery and routing of transactions and content. Another good example is, let's say you like cricket. You're maybe from India, and you live in the United States. And a brand like Coca-Cola is trying to sell you Coke. And they say, all right, well, I know you like cricket. So we're willing to sponsor some their country to consume some cricket content. But obviously we're going to play some commercials and some marketing in there. We have the ability to interact with you as a consumer and try and convert you into a paying customer. So that's another example where operator in India has a relationship with a cricket media outlet. Operator in the US has a relationship with a customer. The brand has the ability to, through sponsoring airtime with operator A, obtain content from operator B. Everybody gets a piece of the action.
As a basic developer, how can you know which operator is using this code API? I mean, we don't deal with low-level calls, right?
So it really is. It's not a simple thing to get mobile operators, 800 different mobile operators to get on the same page. So this is a work in progress. The strategy is around, now I'll talk more about open source and easy enablement of doing it at the local level, and eventually you'll get to this global federation of content roaming. At the moment there is a limited amount of content roaming to Axiata, and some of the Canadian operators are kicking that concept around at the moment, testing how it really works. But we are priming the pump to get major brands on board, because it's not a push. Again, what moves the needle for operators? You go to the operator and say, you should do APIs, it's cool. And say, well, what's the business case? You say, well, it's cool, you can do apps. And you say, no, but I need money. So we also have to entice the brands, and particularly in the exploitation, you have to get the brand and the operator at the same time, at the same place, in order for this to work. But we're making great progress, and we're at the point where, tipping point is approaching. And once you have a couple of live operators in India and Africa and Europe and Sri Lanka and across the Axiata user base, all of a sudden the thing gathers steam. And we'll talk a little bit about how open source can really enable that open source stack like the one that probably is at. But this is two. But before we get just a brain dump from my side on Internet of Things. All right, so APIs and API ecosystem, Internet of Things, everything's connected. Why not just do it over the top? IP is IP. Okay, you can do that, but there's going to be certain mission critical applications where you do want trusted SIM security. You do want token-based operator-verified identity. And so I think you asked earlier about how is the authentication identity management work in a situation like this. So the standard we're embracing is based on OpenAPI and Connect 2. Okay? OpenAPI and Connect. And it's token-based, which means the operator, by knowing your phone number from your SIM card, knowing your IMEI number from your device, and having a billing relationship with you, or it could also be a prepaid relationship, but they know who you are. They can then say, all right, when this person signs in with their own phone number and a 4-digit code or a password, we can then say to developer X, Coca-Cola, or Ford Motor Company, or whoever, yes, this is Jimmy, or yes, this is one of our subscribers, but he did not choose to disclose his identity. So it's a token. It's like, here's your token, this person is authenticated, go ahead, you can transact, messaging, billing, location, all that stuff, because it's already opted in on the subscriber side. Should the subscriber choose to disclose their identity to the brand, maybe they want a coupon, maybe they want to receive promotional material, whatever else, then that can be done. Alright, so back. You want trusted SIM security, you want token-based operator-verified identity. Gizmos have to be able to run. Basketball has to be able to go to Denmark. Forward and backward compatibility is important. You don't want to be the guy that told the CEO of Coca-Cola that he just installed 2,000 vending machines in the forest in Brazil, and they no longer work because they have the wrong firmware, and you don't have the ability to do remote terminal update. So through session management and translation, and maintaining a standard and evolving it over time, like we do for proper telco services, your 2G GSMA phone, your old Nokia phone is like dead in your drawer, you can go and dig it out, it'll still work. No problem. Eventually, it will be sunset, so right now AT&T and T-Mobile are busy sunsetting GSM services, and I think in about 3 years' time they'll be gone. But it's a gradual phase out because nobody else is using GSM phones, and then as an operator you can go and say, alright, Susie, Jimmy, Bobby still using GSM phones, let's send them a flyer, come in and get a new phone from your nearest store. So you don't just have to switch things off and hope for the best. Low-level discoverability and use cost right. It's important. You don't want to be hunting for that basketball all around the world. You want to know exactly where it is. You want to find it quickly, and through the operator ecosystem and service like the Pathfinder service from the GSMA, you can find that device quickly, authenticate, and transact it. Remote device management. Self-describing, service assurance, and application management. So what is service assurance? Right? So you have a Skype account, you love your Skype, it's great, but every once in a while it's not great because the bandwidth shrinks and people start talking fast, and then you lose them, and then you kind of come back, right? So what is service assurance? It's the ability to put operator grade of service quality inside of the pipe that will be carrying things like Skype or voice over LTE. So I totally envision a future where you will be able to have a Skype to phone call, and it will never be great because you chose to, for a penny a minute or whatever else, have Skype phone quality and just done. And that can all be enabled through the operator ecosystem. Back-end value-added services, mobile cloud, that's something operators and OEMs are starting to talk about. You know, why do you have to go all the way to Virginia in the Amazon cloud? If your data can be at the cell site that's closest to your house, most of the data that you're going to use most of the time. It's very much more efficient. Right? So can you disperse, like Netflix did with content video, can you disperse these sort of cloudlets to the edge of the network and make it faster, make it more efficient, and also don't have to have always a single point of failure. So that's an interesting area. And then battery life, of course, for Internet of Things and gizmos. And also network operators spend a lot of money on providing capacity. You want to have RESTful APIs, you don't want to have something that's going to be in a constant session and suck up bandwidth and drain it back. So that's important. And one that I forget to type on there is bowl consolidation or account consolidation. Right, so you have 20 IoT devices in your home. You love them all, but you really wouldn't want to receive 20 different account statements for each. So where are you going to consolidate these? You can consolidate them in a few places. Your mobile phone bill, your home phone bill if you still have one. Electricity bill, mortgage, anything you have a lasting financial relationship with. But the most natural field for IoT consolidation is probably in one of the telco accounts. And now operators are very much trying to consolidate home, internet, media, and mobile anyway. So this is going to be the place where bill consolidation will happen, fractions of a penny for your basketball or whatever else. Popular places.
I think you're overdone.
So, I work for state government, and we're working with the feds on the public safety broadband program.
Yeah.
Have they reached out to you guys and kind of talked to you guys about the vision, where you guys are trying to go with this application framework and being able to provide that? Because we're talking a lot about these concepts, but I think there's probably some lessons learned that can be pulled from your guys' organization.
You know, I'm sure we do talk to them, but it's not in my immediate remit.
Okay.
So within our government liaison department, but I'll be happy to dig into that.
Yeah, because the feds are trying to do, so they're trying to deploy a nationwide public safety broadband network, right? And
FirstNet.
FirstNet, exactly, right? And so they're also talking about API ecosystem, being able to expose, law enforcement information, building app stores for law enforcement.
It's the same stuff.
It's the exact same thing, right? Internet of Things. So anytime you pull your baton out, it sends a message, so they can track that. It'll turn on your camera, right? So it's that all those models are being worked on right now.
I would love to follow up with you.
Yeah.
Possible. That's a goal consolidation or account consolidation. That's going to be big. And you want to be able to then, when you retire T-Mobile and you move to Verizon, Sprint, AT&T, or whoever, you probably don't want to go and redo all of your gizmos with new SIM cards and do that. Some of them you want to be able to get to the SIM cards. You want to be able to use number portability on the back end on the network side, move all of your gizmos to your new account and everybody's happy. Okay. So, the need for speed, the open source story. And I didn't have a cool infographic for this because I didn't have anything to copy paste. So, obviously exposing operator assets to enterprises and developers through APIs is fundamental for future growth, right? In all areas, from public safety to economic development to this pure commons. But legacy telco technology development cycles are slow and they are expensive. And some of them have to be slow and some of them have to be expensive because it's still a phone company. Phone company is held to a higher degree of regulation than an internet provider or a social network. However, in the API ecosystem, we have seen examples and instances how open source can really prime the pump and scale the curve. And so I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing from WSO2 and implementation at Axiata with WSO2. And it does dramatically shorten the development cycles because it's a very generic, very solid, very trusted stack. But it can be modified quickly, customized quickly. And you can go mess with it as much as you want to suit exactly your needs. So now there are 800 operators in the world. Let's say 50 of them are enterprising, they want to develop some of their own functionality. I will have a reference implementation. Say, my members here are all the, the bits and pieces of the reference implementation on API enablement ecosystem. Take the code, go and play with it, develop it. If you have something that's really cool, bring it back. We'll take a look at it. We'll ratify it, and at that point we can actually even standardize it if it's wanted by enough operators. We can say, hey, this solution that operator X developed over here. It's really solving a lot of problems for a lot of operators. So we're going to say this is now an API standard X. Why not? Why would you have to write the API first and then develop it? It makes more sense to have it. Okay. So have it evolve naturally, have it ratified, and then implement it. And have a reference implementation in a commercial open source model. Third parties are sure to capitalize and commercialize. We've seen that, and this is one of the key models within WSO2 environment. That's all I got. So feel free to go to our website, and the paper that's really interesting, that I find interesting, is the mobile economy. We publish an annual paper on mobile economy, and the size of it, and where the growth is, and what we're busy doing, and what we see. So questions? Thank you very much.